Okay, The Case of the Secret Silver. We are on chapter 3. Jennifer strolled into the museum room with her mother and her stepbrother. Jake carried a camcorder. The same grad student was tending the exhibits. Seeing Jennifer, the grad student smiled. "You're back," he said. "My pictures didn't turn out too well last time," said Jennifer. "I want to take pictures from several different angles, if you don't mind." She showed him her digital camera and smiled. "May I take a picture of you too?" she asked. "That would be fine," he said, "if it won't break your camera." He stood up and straightened his tie. "Do I look all right?" "You look great," she said. She snapped 2 pictures. "See?" she said. It didn't break the camera. She pressed a button on the back of the camera and showed the pictures to him. "I didn't look so bad," he said. "You're a wonderful photographer." "Thank you," she said, and blushed. "Do you mind taking the cover off the case again? I need to take several pictures this time." "No problem at all," he said. He hurried over to remove the cover from the case. He stood in a corner by Jennifer's mother, and Jennifer walked around the case and snapped pictures from every angle. Following her around, Jake taped her movements with the camcorder. "Are you making a movie?" asked the grad student. "Sort of," said Jake. "Would you like to see what we have so far?" "Sure," said the grad student. Jake held the camcorder up, hit the rewind button, then showed the movie of their ride up to the university, the pastures of horses in Washoe Valley, and the ranch with haystacks farther north. While the grad student bent over to view the movie on the screen, Jennifer went through the tea set item by item. She removed the top from the silver sugar bowl, found a piece of yellowed paper, and stuck it in her pocket. As she put the top back on, it clinked. The grad student looked over from the camcorder screen. "What are you doing? I told you, you can't touch anything in this display case." His eyes flashed. I'm sorry," said Jennifer. "It was so shiny and pretty, I had to touch it." "Don't," he said. "Do you know how much trouble I'd get in if anything went missing from that display?" "I won't do it again," said Jennifer. "I said I'm sorry." "I think you'd better go now," said the grad student. "But there was one more thing I wanted to know about," said Jennifer, pleading. She batted her eyelashes and gazed at him sweetly with her bright blue eyes. "What was that?" asked the grad student, his tone softer now. "I want to see the books that John Mackey had in his library." "You are a persistent girl, I'll say that for you," said the grad student. He locked the display case, pocketed the key, and led them down a hall to a large wood door with flower petals on it. He pulled out a large key, unlocked the door, and flicked on the lights. They were in a room 10 times bigger than Jake's bedroom. Pivoting on his foot and turning in a circle, Jake videotaped the entire room, which had shelves with books as high as the ceiling. "John Mackey owned a large number of books," said the grad student. "He was content to sit home and read while his wife went to Paris to become a famous hostess." Jennifer ran her fingers along the spines of the books. "Did he happen to have any books by Mark Twain?" "I believe he did. They both lived in Virginia City, where John Mackey struck it rich on the Comstock Lode. Mark Twain once offered to trade places with Mackey. Twain would be a mining contractor and Mackey would be a newspaper reporter. John Mackey turned him down. If you will come over here," and he gestured to a bookshelf, "you'll see first editions of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn." "May I look at those books?" Jennifer inquired. "Now, dear," said Mrs. Adamson, "don't get pushy with the man." "It's all right," said the grad student. "You do need to wear cotton gloves to handle these books. They are rare and old, and we want to keep them in good condition for generations to come." He handed her a pair of cotton gloves and stood in a corner talking to Jennifer's mother. Before Jennifer put on the cotton gloves, she studied the new scrap of paper she had taken from the silver sugar bowl. It read Twain 192-16 1-5 on the yellow sheet. She sat at a wooden table, and the grad student brought the 2 volumes over to her. She set out her 2 scraps of paper in front of her and pulled out a pencil and a notebook. She opened Huckleberry Finn to page 192 and scanned down the page with her finger. "No, not that one," she said. She opened Tom Sawyer to page 192 and scanned down the page. "Now we're on to something," she said. Next, she opened Huckleberry Finn to page 229, counted down the lines on the page, smiled, and scribbled in her notebook. "When do we go home?" asked Jake. "I have a martial arts contest tomorrow, and I have to practice." "I'm almost ready," said Jennifer. She jotted down a few more notes and closed her notebook. "All right, I'm ready." The grad student came over and picked up the 2 volumes. "All done?" he asked. "Yes, I'm done," she said, smug as a student who had aced a test. "What are those scraps of paper?" asked the grad student. "Oh, nothing," she said, "just some numbers." "They don't look like nothing. Where did you get them?" he asked suspiciously. "They look old, old as the silver tea set." Jennifer hesitated. Her mother said, "Whatever it is, tell the truth, dear." "Do I have to, Mom? A detective keeps her sources confidential." She brushed back her blonde hair and put on the same look she used when she wanted to stay up past her bedtime. "In this case," said her mother, "you must reveal the source." "I found them in the silver tea set," she said. "I'll have to take them back," said the grad student. "They're part of the display. They're museum property. I could have you arrested." "I know," said Jennifer, "but a good detective takes clues wherever she finds them." "A good detective doesn't break the law," said the grad student. "Now you get out of here before I call the cops." Chapter 4. While Jennifer was relegated to her room for 2 nights after school, having broken house rules against stealing, she studied anything she could find on Codes, the Silver King, and Mark Twain on her computer. Soon she had reached a conclusion. "What have you come up with?" asked Jake, who dropped in from time to console her and to tell her that the movie was going well so far. "My conclusion, dear Watson," said Jennifer, "is that I need more clues. Mind you, I have 2 solid clues. We are well on our way to solving the mystery. But without at least one more clue, we can go nowhere." "What do you want me to do about it? Steal something?" asked Jake. "No, silly, and I didn't intend to steal those scraps of paper either. I would have returned them once I solved the mystery. A good detective keeps her hands on the evidence." "You got your hands slapped for doing that," said Jake. "You should give up detecting and take up martial arts. You'll know how to defend yourself if anybody attacks you." "Do you think someone would attack me?" "You aren't too bad looking for a girl," he said. "Some guy who's half blind in one eye and can't see out of the other might go after you." "You monster!" she screamed and chased him out of the room and down the hall. "What are you doing out of your room?" Jennifer asked her mother. "You're grounded." "He was teasing me. I chased him." "Brothers will do that. Now go back in your room." "Mom, can I ask you something?" "Sure, hon, anything." "Next weekend, when I'm not grounded, can we take a trip to Virginia City?" She hopped up and down like a little girl, which usually helped to persuade her mother. "Your stepdad and I planned to go shopping in Truckee. Can't it wait?" "It can't wait. Somebody else may be on the same trail as I am. I have to move fast." "This is one of your detective adventures, isn't it?" "I need your help, Mom. If you can't take me, I'll ride my bicycle to Virginia City." "You can ride to Virginia City. It's uphill, but not too far. Let Jake come as your bodyguard."